What if I told you one of the most talked about girl groups right now isn't being talked about for their music at all? KATSEYE is everywhere, as Brandel's viral clips, controversies, you've seen them, you've heard about them, maybe you've even talked about them. But when was the last time you've actually thought about their music and talked about it? Not in a way of flopping. This isn't just a story about a pop group. It's about marketing, image, sexuality, parasocial fans, and what happens when a global girl group starts to feel more like a product than artists. Are they the future of pop or just perfectly engineered experiment? Hi everyone, my name is Nana and today we're gonna be talking about KATSEYE, a pop girl group formed in 2023 through the reality competition Dream Academy, a collaboration between Hype and Geffen Records. This is the second part of my video series about KATSEYE. If you haven't watched the first one, you'd better watch it now and only after that come back to this one, because otherwise it might be hard for you to understand what I'm talking about. But do you hear the echo? Oh my god. But if you know basics about KATSEYE, which you might because everyone's talking about them, you can stay here and only then watch the first one. You know what I mean? The first video came out a couple of weeks ago and there we talked about how the group was formed, their rise, career, music, and the situation with Manon. So you decide if you want to watch it after this one or before this one. Today though, we're gonna talk about a lot more interesting and exciting things. Some of them you've heard in the intro, some of them maybe in the comments. Do everyone read comments before watching this video? I mean any video? Captions are available if you don't understand my accent. Available. Small talk before the video as always. Guys, I'm so sorry for the lightning, it's usually not like that on the channel. I'm just in Tallinn right now. Yeah! In Estonia. That's such a beautiful city, to be honest. I would live here, really. If not the weather though, it's so cold. I didn't bring the lighting for this trip, so that's why it's so dark. And also, I can't do anything with the background. Like, these are the decorations to the max. I hope you will understand that and probably just focus on my face card. Write me in the comments, how are you guys? Girls and gays, what are you doing? Are you enjoying the spring? Okay, get yourself a drink. A healthy one, of course. And without further ado, let's get right into it. I want to start with something we all are thinking about. Why does KATSEYE have more ads than songs lately? The goal of signing a contract between a label and an artist has always been money. For the label, it is purely financial. For the artist, it is more about recognition, a bigger platform, more opportunities, and ultimately more profit. Look at any major artist. They make a lot of money, they have advertisements and investors. They don't just want to put out music and connect with people for free. They want money too, and that's okay. I'm not saying it's bad. Every artist promotes one or several brands, performs somewhere, collaborates with someone, and earns money. That is the baseline. With KATSEYE, things were fine at first. Their first advertising work seems to be with Coach. Then came Pepsi, which by the way still works with Russia. After that, there was a jump to a new level. Promotions for Fendi, Glossier, Pandora, Gap, and Monster High. This is where things could have and should have stopped. Then we also got a Jollibee and KATSEYE collaboration merch in 2025. In my opinion, this was already a little bit too much, but still some of these were truly iconic collaborations that fit their brand, expanded their audience, made them more visible, and worked not only for the brands that KATSEYE promoted, but also for the group itself. In 2026, this advertising marathon only got more intense. Laneige, Matrix, Erewhon, KATSEYE appeared in a Super Bowl commercial for the US insurance company State Farm as a part of the brand's campaign called Stop Living on a Prayer. First of all, the number is striking. 4 advertisements in 2026. We are like in the 3rd month of the year. Hello? What is your actual positioning as a group if you're advertising anything? Look, Fendi and Coach are literally competitors in the fashion niche. Glossier and Laneige are also competitors in the cosmetic market. It seems like the company that KATSEYE are in does not care which product they sell as long as they get money. This is not benefiting anyone long term. For the group image, this is bad. You could think think, Nana, this actually is benefiting them. They're getting money, their company's getting money. KATSEYE girls also getting more money and probably a little bit more recognition. But no, it's not beneficial for anyone long term. The products you advertise are directly associated with you. If you advertise anything, the value of your brand lowers. Imagine if Billie Eilish were to advertise Shein or AliExpress. Would you really say your perception of her would not change? That her reputation would not decline? And I am not saying that KATSEYE girls should only collaborate with luxury brands and do one ad per year. No. But there should be a limit to what you advertise as a musical artist, or just as anyone with a brand. I gotta say that at first the trajectory of their ads was actually good. Then it gives the group an image of idolization and sophistication. Glossier brings them closer to a teenage audience. Pandora targets young women, and Gap essentially spreads their name across almost all age groups. That would have been enough, but advertising for an insurance company, are you guys serious? What is even the goal here? What are they trying to achieve? It's not beneficial for KATSEYE, and it probably does nothing for State Farm. I'm not sure that the audience of KATSEYE can even allow an insurance. I'm not even talking about absolute out of placeness of the choreography. Not every track needs a dance. As a consumer, it looks like KATSEYE will advertise anything, which means I won't buy nothing of that. This is bad both for the group's image and for the brands they work with. If previously having KATSEYE in your advertisement was kind of a sign of trendiness, now everyone is already tired. The value of their presence in your ad is lost. Again, imagine if Billie Eilish, Rihanna, whoever you think about were advertising this many brands. If any other artist had a new collaboration every single month, their comments would be like, are you running out of money? Or she's an influencer now. Sometimes being a KATSEYE fan feels like being trapped in an ad carousel you never signed up for. We can easily compare that to Michaela Nogueira, I hope I said the name right. This influencer is almost constantly promoting something and her reputation is dropping dead low. The same goes for any other influencer, and trust me, there is a lot of them right now on the internet. Do people really believe in these recommendations? Well, not really, only fools do, because we know it doesn't matter what they're promoting, they don't care about it. Most of them don't. Most of them care about money. Of course, I gotta say that probably there are people who actually care about what they promote, but most of them just don't. Let's accept it. The only thing that counts for most of them is the money they're being paid for it. And y'all, money is fine, but having some responsibility for your audience, that's better. And this is where the real problem lies too. The quality of this collaboration is also declining, and they fit the group's image less and less each time. Another problem is that KATSEYE does not have such an active music career to justify focusing on advertising instead of making music. We had an EP in June last year and a questionable track at the end of 2025. If we are honest, they only have 4 strong songs: Gabriella, Game Boy, Gnarly, and Touch. And even then you can see I'm trying to be very polite because Gnarly is still controversial and Touch came out a long time ago. Yeah, everyone's musical taste is different, so this is subjective, but I don't know how subjective it is. I don't see people really enjoying their music except for Gabriella and Touch, like sometimes Gnarly, you know what I mean? Game Boy too, yes. You're just a Game Boy, I'm trying to play boy, I'm thinking about you. Were they really created to make money for already rich people? Well, female groups have always been a way to generate money, just like everything in the pop industry. Behind KATSEYE stands a huge team that started working on them long before their debut, and the girls' work deserves to be properly paid, right? In theory, yes, but in practice? In practice, we are not talking about a poor working class people who are being overworked and underpaid. No. We are talking about a brand. KATSEYE is a brand. And a brand is the total perception, emotional connection, and reputation that a customer has with a company, product, or service. Right now, this brand is falling apart. It would be better to earn less now, to make less ads now, but make KATSEYE last long term than to make them look like fast fashion in a pop scene. Fast fashion, or rather fast food, because we are eating this up real quick. We are eating tighten up not only the questionable branding but also seemingly conscious actions that appear to include alleged queerbaiting. If you watched the previous part about KATSEYE, you know that 2 out of the 6 members of KATSEYE have came out as a part of the LGBTQ+ community. Megan has identified as bisexual and Lara as queer. Support for LGBTQ+ community towards their people in industry is huge because they see representation in these stars. That makes total sense. A member of a community that has been marginalized and dismissed for years now becoming visible and openly expressing who they are. In theory, this is great, but in practice we have a really funny video that describes this situation. Okay, it's joke, guys, but it's still so funny. You can't deny it's funny. When I first saw this, I was gagged. So in practice, it is still difficult to judge. They still date white men, but in theory, they do represent the LGBTQ+ community. They raise pride flags at concerts and they receive love from their community as well. So where does queerbaiting come in? Before I show you the clips, I wanted to understand fully what it is. Queerbaiting is a marketing or storytelling technique in media where creators hint at but never actually depict a same-sex romantic relationship between characters, and that is being done in order to attract LGBTQ+ audiences without alienating more conservative viewers. Sitting on 2 chairs, if you know what I mean. It involves teasing queer subtext to increase engagement while keeping the characters technically heterosexual, and it is often seen as exploitative to audiences who want genuine representation. Key aspects of queerbaiting include relying on subtext rather than action, using marketing to appeal to diverse audiences, and exploiting the desire for representation without delivering meaningful inclusion. Queerbaiting is definitely harmful, there is no doubt about that. In my opinion, there is really a lot of queerbaiting in the pop industry and K-pop industry as well. Lesbianism is often used not as an identity that deserves respect, but as a fetish to appeal to straight men. So in other more simple words, queerbaiting is when creators play up a potential LGBTQ+ relationship but never actually intend to follow through. It often includes subtle cues that LGBTQ+ people notice while others may miss, as well as things that can easily be dismissed as jokes. Now let's look at some clips. So Lara and Manon. Lara is queer, Manon has not publicly shared her orientation, and that's fine. I don't think she should or whatever. It feels so weird to even say that. Like, it's none of our business, guys. I hope we all understand it. From what we know, Lara has seen the queerbaiting allegations and has responded to it with words like, how can a queer person be queerbaiting if they are queer? That's my question. Her fans also say that real people cannot queerbait, which to me doesn't make any sense. Personally, I see their performances on stage harmful because these are not genuine explorations of queerness or sexuality, but rather sexualized performances designed to attract LGBTQ+ fans who are looking for representation and also sell this fantasy to straight men. These performances don't feel genuine because arguably they are not. They could be compared to 2 girls kissing because their straight boyfriends find it attractive. I am presenting arguments only from the perspective that this is queerbaiting because that is also what I see here, and I have not yet heard any strong arguments to the contrary. Real people can't queerbait. What? They literally can. Queer people can't queerbait. Girl, same, they literally can. Come on, wake up. We are talking about two women performing sexual attraction for each other to an audience. How would this not queerbaiting, y'all? The worst thing is that it works. These performances do go viral, attract new fans, gain attention and views, and ultimately generate money. For now, let's get over it. You understood my point and you can share yours in the comments. Honestly, if it weren't for the fanbase of KATSEYE, we might not even know who is queer and who is bisexual at all. After all, why would we? It's none of our business. But as we know, KATSEYE fanbase pressured the girls to come out, particularly Megan. She said this:
I feel like a lot of people have been like kind of asking and like spectating, especially with like me. So I just decided to do it. Like, it was so unexpected. I was with Lara when I came out on just like a Weverse Live. But the amount of love that I've been getting from it, it's just so heartwarming, and like the support has been really, really nice. And I was scared at first, but now I feel really, really like open and like myself.
Just do it. 1, 2, 3.
Guys, I'm coming out. I'm bisexual.
But fans didn't stop here. Next was Daniela, and in the end, she did come out as straight. After Nolly era, fans really wanted her to come out as lesbian because, quote, no man deserved this. And clearly Daniela was so done with all of this that she decided to come out as straight and to stop all the speculations.
I'm not gay. I don't know any rumors.
I'm not gay, guys.
Oh,
Danny just said she's
Laura's.
not gay.
I mean,
No,
Danny's
okay,
coming
enough
out
with
straight.
enough with the gay
Danny's
allegations.
coming out with enough.
Yeah. There's people.
Congratulations, thank you for coming out.
I'm coming out as straight. Now you know. Now you know.
Wow,
Anyway.
you're so brave.
You were so brave. You know how many people you're going to inspire with this?
I hope.
So many little girls out there
Look,
that
they're
are scared
clapping
to
for
say
you.
that they're straight.
Oh, thanks, guys.
She also had what fans call it weird reaction to one of the comments on live.
Someone said these lesbians.
Guys, pause.
Ballerina
cappuccina.
And then there was an interview where the reporter or someone in the background asked the girls, what songs do you feel most represented by? I will put the literal question here. I don't remember it like that exactly, but that was the point. What song do you feel most represented by? Megan said Lunch by Billie Eilish, which is funny and probably true for her. And Daniela reacted like this.
Lunch by Billie Eilish. Lunch by Billie Eilish. No.
Lunch, Billy. Wait, should we say it together? 1, 2, 3.
Lunch by Billie Eilish.
No explanation.
That's it.
That's it.
After that, fans started calling her homophobic. I don't know if I should comment on this. I don't really think that makes sense. Of course, I don't know this women personally. If you are subscribed to my channel and have watched my previous videos, you probably know that I will be the first person to be like, y'all, you don't know this women, don't assume anything, they can be this, they can be that, we don't know. And that's true. Potentially, like, there is a chance that some of these girls are homophobic. We don't know them, we have never talked to them. But specifically these videos, they don't give me an idea that Daniela is homophobic. Also, of course, I don't know. Making allegations about someone in a very bad light based on these baseless clips is insane to me, to be honest. So yeah, she decided to come out after all these kinda edits and clips, which also doesn't seem entirely voluntarily, more like pressure and exhaustion. The question is, why is this so important to fans, knowing such personal details about an artist, knowing who they are attracted to? These are young, talented women who release music and work hard to succeed as a girl group. Why do people care so much about these deeply personal things? The same applies to the guys these girls date. Why do icons even have an opinion on that? Nobody asked you. Hello, wake up, your opinion don't matter. They give opinions about Daniela's boyfriend's appearance, Lara's boyfriend's age, and the funniest thing is that every time photos surface that hint at relationships, but not actually show it, fans immediately say they are friends, they're probably just friends. Come on guys, Don't you see they're just friends? Until of course it gets obvious they are more than that. This reveals an even bigger issue, or rather exposes the same issue even more. Extreme parasocial behavior. I know y'all are done with this term. Everyone talks about why it's not okay. I cannot be silent about it. Making a video about KATSEYE and not talking about parasocial fans would be insane. When you make assumptions about people you don't know, neither the girls nor their partners, when you convince yourself these kind of photos are just friendship because it's uncomfortable to think these women have relationships, give their love and attention to another human being and don't give a about you, that's a problem. Frankly, I think that if you are not indifferent at all to their personal lives, if you are interested even in like 10% of it, if you find yourself thinking what they're doing right now, what is their this and their that, that's a problem as well. You don't know them. I know it may be uncomfortable to wake up from a parasocial relationship to understand that these people are strangers to you and they don't give a about you. They should not even care. They should not, and you should not care about them too. I get that it's uncomfortable when you have an attachment to that idea of them. It's uncomfortable, but it's needed. The deeper you go, the worse it gets and the harder it is to get out. Wake up. These people don't know you, you don't know them, and if you want to know them, get a life. Or get help. I'm saying this as someone who used to be very parasocial during my teenage years. I recognize the problem because yes, I was extremely parasocial because I didn't have any personal life. Listen, I get why people feel the need to connect to artists, to idolize them, but in 2026, when we are all aware of the fact that it's BS? How do I say this so this video is not banned? We all get it. It's a problem. You should not be doing that for your own sake. These celebrities are no better than ordinary people. You create idols for yourself and then end up disappointed when they do something you don't like. On the other hand, can you actually blame the fans? Well, if you view them as a mindless mess, no. The main appeal of the group is the girls themselves, not the music or the art, so it makes sense that fans form a cult around them. Icons could be analyzing music, looking for meanings and so-called Easter eggs, but we all understand why that is not happening, well at least not yet, because there is nothing to analyze. Now, in any fandom to some extent, there are extremely parasocial people. It's just that with KATSEYE, they make up a large majority. First, many fans of KATSEYE are children. Second, the company benefits from this. And third, something you may not like to hear, but you cannot be a fan of KATSEYE without being parasocial. They don't write their own music, they don't participate in creative process, at least from what I know, yet you still call yourself a fan. A fan of what? I'm asking. The work of the people behind the scenes, the fan of a commercial product, or a fan of women whose image you have built in your own head? Tell me in the comments and go see a therapist. I'm sorry, that's actually so rude, guys. It was just a joke. Enjoying a song knowing it's a commercial product is fine, but being a fan of women you don't know when they don't write their music, it's creepy to me. I gotta be honest, I probably will lose some audience by saying this, but I don't know, it's weird. Maybe someone can explain to me and I will actually get it. I'm open to your opinions, so share it. Oh my god, I need some water. Let's keep going. In Western girl groups, even when a group has just debuted, conversations already start about who will go solo first and who will be the most successful solo artist. In K-pop, that is not the case. Their groups tend to stay together, and even when an idol goes solo, it's not seen as the collapse of the group. In pop, it's different. And no, I'm not going to bring typical examples like Fifth Harmony or Little Mix, because honestly when they existed I was too young and don't even fully understand what was happening or what the public reaction actually was back then. If you know, feel free to leave comparisons in the comments. I will like them, I read every single one as you know, but for now I will speak from my own experience. Even K-pop, which is the methodology KATSEYE is built on, the group is the foundation of the industry. In the pop industry it is so solo artists. In K-pop, there are many cases where an idol debuts in a group, the group disbands, and later the idol joins another group. We have seen it with members of IZ*ONE rejoining IVE and LE SSERAFIM. In the pop industry, however, after a group disbands or after a scandal, people usually expect purely solo careers from the members, and well, maybe a group reunion 10 years after. This is probably due to more individualistic society. Considering the bigger picture, especially with the recent events like Mano's hiatus, it seems like their opinions about who will go solo first or last are divided. But one thing remains constant. It seems the company is truly interested in promoting Daniela as a solo artist in the future and maybe potentially preparing the ground for it right now. She has a separate Spotify account, a feature with Yoonchae from TXT, a full Spanish bridging Gabriela, and many center positions. I would understand if Hype eventually decides to make her a solo artist. She has the it factor, charisma, looks, vocals, dance, she just has it all. Lara does too, of course. She's getting more popular day by day and that's good for her. Now, based on fan observations, after KATSEYE, Mano might go into acting, Yoonchae could become a solo artist in Korea, Sophia might go into musical theater, and Megan might do something else. Well, it all sounds uncertain, we are not sure what will happen, and that's exactly why it's too early to make any of them go solo and promote them individually. They can do side projects, but only to promote KATSEYE as a group. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Nobody knows and cares for them individually, at least for now. The same applies to the fans' idea that KATSEYE should suddenly participate in their music and produce their songs by themselves. There is this idea going on that KATSEYE should take full control of their own music or leave their company because it is, quote, holding them back. There's also a conversation that some members like Lara should go solo. Y'all, not at this stage, it's too early. KATSEYE, also quite popular, are still too small to exist without a company. This company created them. There is huge amount of work from a massive team behind every performance, every appearance, every event like the Grammys, Coachella, and every major opportunity they receive. This is the result of a large group of people, significant financial investment, and very strong industry connections. At this stage, they cannot simply leave the company that essentially created them. From a strategic point of view, what are the chances that the music they create will not be worse than Gnarly or Internet Girl? Yes, there are some clips from Weaver's life or whatever, some leaks of the songs that Megan has produced and Lara has produced, and they sound like normal. They sound like regular pop. I'm not gonna say it's bad. Probably there are people who's gonna be like, oh my god, it's so talentless. Oh my god, what was that? I personally don't think the songs are bad. They aren't extremely good either, but I'm pretty sure there will be people who will enjoy it. Let's listen to some of the songs and you will form your opinion too. I think this song is given, but from a strategic point of view, what are the chances that all of their songs are gonna be good and not sound like Internet Girl or Nali? This is the question. This is not a rhetorical one. Write your thoughts in the comments. In the end, I don't think they should be leaving the company right now. Now, people are so confident that the company is holding them back, but do you not see that this same company gave them the opportunity to perform at the Grammys less than 2 years into their careers? And with this performance, that is an incredible privilege, something that without industry connections would be nearly impossible to achieve that early in your career with the music they make. So while I understand the frustration about bad tracks, too many ads, and rage bait marketing, I myself have expressed this in these videos, I still believe we need to take off the rose-colored glasses and acknowledge the influence of a multi-million-dollar company on their success as well. A big part of that company is its massive marketing team. I don't actually know how massive it is, but they know what they're doing. I am studying marketing myself, myself, so give me some credit. Every step, every press appearance, every public and sometimes even private move is planned, even when it feels so accidental and so natural. This so-called inclusivity, popstar academy, scandalous outfits, coming out, not necessarily the oldest but the youngest member twerking and doing specific movements in their performances. The producer of Gnarly saying he used an actual sound from corn in the song, the Gap campaign, the insurance company collaboration, launching boyfriends, the controversial Grammy performance, Mano's hiatus, Daniela mentioning Playboy Carti and later apologizing, Megan and acne controversy. You might think it's all natural, but chances are it well pre-planned. And the chances are very high because a group like this cannot simply drift alone. There are specific people who are actively and strategically working to make it successful. I'm not saying the girls themselves do not have a deep personal interest in music. They likely enjoy their work and put their heart into it when possible. But KATSEYE is a brand, and forming a psychological attachment to a fully commercial product is not just weird and creepy, it can actually be dangerous. Yes, KATSEYE is a commercial product in the sense that they are highly curated, professionally managed and branded global pop group designed to drive consumer engagement, brand partnerships and media popularity. And danger, especially the kind that is subtle, where it's hard to define where the line actually is, has always been the part of the industry because it always attracts attention. When the line is too obvious and the audience is convinced 100% know that this is wrong, well, someone gets hate or gets totally cancelled. If the line goes in the other direction and everything is perfectly fine, everyone knows there is no problem, well, then there is no problem and no one really cares. But if something moves along that line in an unclear way, almost crossing back and forth between both sides of right and wrong, or rather acceptable and unacceptable, then boom, we get so much attention. Everyone talks about it, everyone is concerned, and some people are just entertained. But you get attention anyway. In our age, attention is currency. Your attention is literally currency. Don't give it out just like that. Please be mindful about what you spend your time and attention on. So what I was talking about was Yoonchae, the youngest member of KATSEYE, who turned 18 at the end of 2025. You already know what we're gonna be talking about, right? This topic has been discussed on the channel for a long time, sexualization, but in the context of people with her age. I'm sorry, I can't be too direct with this one due to the guidelines. We have not talked about it before. First, let's look at a situation that gain attention without my personal opinion. I encourage you to form your own opinion on what you will see and what you will hear, and only then consider arguments for and against. Please don't forget about critical thinking. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's why people say Yoonchae was sexualized. Performance styling. In the pop industry, outfits and dance moves can sometimes lean mature or suggestive. With KATSEYE, this is more of a rule than an exception. Starting from the Gnarly era, their group styling looks cool, visually appealing, and revealing. Right now, you can see examples of outfits for fashion events, music videos, festivals, and even fan content like dance practices. Choreography. It is usually the same for all members, and some moves are indeed very open and sexual. The fact that she turned 18 was also made into a big deal. It was emphasized in her birthday Instagram post, and there are videos highlighting this moment. We will watch them together a bit later. Now, a lot of this sexualization can come from both the company and the audience itself, through comments, edits, and focus. But everything we just discussed comes from official content, and that is important to understand. I hope you formed your opinion. If you haven't yet, please pause and think about it and then write it in the comments. This will help the channel, yes, but also I really wanna read it and understand what people think about it before I influence you guys to, you know, go into another direction with your thoughts. Okay, I hope you did that. Here's my opinion. Let's talk about performance styling. Since the group's debut, she had fairly normal outfits, but as she approached her 18th birthday, it did feel like she was being prepared for something more revealing. In these photos, she is still 17, and here she is already 18. The choreography in Gabriella, especially this part where the girls are bending on their knees, is openly sexual and aimed at a seductive image. Let's not pretend like we don't see this. For me, there is no question of whether this is okay or not. It's not okay for someone her age. The next clips we're about to look at are honestly my nightmare.
Yoonchae, do you okay, I can Hi, I'm Yoonchae and I'm 18 years old.
Wait, do you feel different?
Hi, I'm
And I'm an
Yoonchae.
adult. Say I'm an adult.
Whoa, she already looked older. I'm Yoonchae and I'm an adult.
For the edits.
I'm so excited.
Yoonchae is no longer a minor.
It's
Hey, it's KATSEYE and we're all adults.
What did I just watch, please? I want to forget it. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. That is so creepy, so weird, and so cringe. I did feel cringe. Obviously, these videos were recorded after or right on a day Yoonchae turned 18. I'm sure they were told to record this type of videos by their management or their company. Of course, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking I'm a legend. This is all allegedly, and all of that. Don't you know? Otherwise, it's hard to imagine how these videos would end up online. They are really creepy and they are disturbing. Who are the people who were waiting for this girl to turn 18? Probably the same people who want these companies to debut more young girls, dress them like this, make them bend on their knees in the positions that are openly sexual in these outfits, and then call it empowerment so no one sees a problem. So KATSEYE is marketed as a global girl group with representation because it was designed from the start to appeal to an international audience, not just one country or region. The members come from different cultural backgrounds, which is meant to help the group connect with fans worldwide and reflect a more diverse global image of pop music. This approach also aligns with how the industry is evolving. Labels are trying to build acts that can succeed across multiple markets at once, especially through social media platforms. By emphasizing diversity and inclusivity, KATSEYE positions itself as a relatable to a wider audience while also standing out from more traditionally localized groups. From my perspective, the company chose the path of diversity and representation simply because that is what the audience demands. Essentially, as a lot of other companies, they, in my opinion, don't really care what direction to follow as long as it works and gets the money. Partly this is normal, but partly it's also very harmful. When you select members of different ethnicities and tell young people this is your representation, but then allegedly push them to get rid of their ethnic facial features through plastic surgery, it raises a question. Who is this actually for? Is it to check a box under representation? And who needs this kind of representation if you're simply pushing people into stereotypical sexualized roles tied to their origin? Breaking news right now, I'm in Tallinn, such a beautiful city. Estonian people are so lovely, but I live in Ukraine. I'm gonna be coming back there soon. Ukraine is being attacked every day and every night. The war is still going on. Russians are attacking civil cities, civil houses. Please support Ukraine. I will leave a link to a very fine fundraiser. You can find all the data about where the money are going on their side. You can donate as well on their side. As I always say, every dollar matters. If like everyone who watches this video right now gets $1, like cents, donates $1, it will be, I hope, $10,000, and that's a lot, you know. Also, I know that a lot of horrible things are going on in the world right now. I really hope you are safe. And if something is going on specifically in your city, in your country, please don't ignore their air alerts. Please go to the shelter. Don't ignore the signs. I know it's a little bit dumb to say that, but please stay safe. Please go to shelter. Really, don't ignore the signs. Stay safe. Take care of your physical and mental health. Okay, let's get right to the positive video. Latina Mami either way you want to represent to the young girls. Daniela is a white Latina. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, she is a Cuban Venezuelan American with a Cuban mother and a Venezuelan father of European heritage. You may have heard about some controversies claiming that Daniela is not Latina enough, that she's not a Latina even, but for me those debates don't make much sense. My issue is that as the only Latina member of the group, she is being pushed into this hypersexualized Latina mommy image. Latina mommy is a slang term referring to an attractive, confident Latina woman. While it can function as a term of empowerment, in this context it often becomes a label tied to sexualization. In Daniela's case, this is exactly how many fans refer to her, and this is the image that is being promoted, hypersexualized one. Even if Daniela is comfortable and genuinely wants to express her sexuality as an adult woman the way she does it, this still impacts an entire demographic group. The Latina mommy image is imposed on many Latina women in the industry. Rosalia, Becky G, Kali Uchis, Shakira, Anita, Cardi B. Haven't young Latina women been given already enough narrow stereotypical examples about what a Latina woman should be like? Calling Daniela a Latina mommy reduces her identity to a sexualized stereotype, framing her primarily through ethnicity and sexualized imagery. This not only objectifies her but also sends a message that Latina women are inherently sexual or exotic, reinforcing damaging cultural stereotypes. Beyond Daniela, it affects young Latina women by shaping how they are perceived and treated, pressuring them into narrow roles instead of allowing them to be seen as complex individuals. Latina women are already sexualized and fetishized enough, and while as an individual you can choose how you express yourself, this type of representation impacts an entire demographic group of women. In short, calling Daniela Latina mommy is not natural. It carries cultural and sexual implications that influence how audiences perceive both her and a broader group of Latina women, often in ways that are unfair and diminishing. Now let's talk a little more about Daniela. She is or was an open fan of Playboi Carti, not just a casual listener who enjoys a few songs. No, by what she was presenting to the public, she is a fan. She quite literally said something that Playboi Carti saved her life.
I would cry. I would cry and I'd be like, you literally like saved my life. Like I would say that.
Love to collaborate with Playboi Carti. I say this every single interview. He's just like my favorite rapper. Playboi Carti. Sorry, just have to mention him.
We actually listen to a lot of like rap. Like Daniela always says, Playboi Carti.
I gotta say Playboi Carti. Like, I love my Playboi Carti. I have two. Playboi Carti and
top 3 rappers ASAP. Playboi Carti. I absolutely love Playboi Carti. What's fam?
Playboi Carti.
Opium.
Dude, fam for life. Fam for life. Yeah. Fam for life. Playboi Carti.
Top common being doesn't inhibit women. And this is exactly where the problem begins. Playboi Carti has been involved in several serious legal and personal issues, most recently facing assault charges in Utah in October 2025. We also have a 2022 charge for allegedly assaulting his then pregnant girlfriend. Iggy Azalea has described her past relationship with Playboi Carti as volatile and toxic, frequently accusing him of being absent father to their son and calling herself a single mother. She has also alleged that he is violent and struggling with addiction, claiming they went a month without hearing from him. Sounds exactly like a man who saves your life and like a man you want to promote to your young audience. Jokes aside, yes, this is exactly why Daniela received huge amount of hate in the end of 2025. The hate was really massive for promoting such an artist. She should have known about these allegations, saying that she saved her life. This implies she's not just a casual listener, she is essentially a huge fan. And honestly, that what kind of she was given. She went to his concert, she said many times Playboi Carti is her favorite artist, so people thought she's really a fan for a reason, you know? The criticism here is absolutely valid. Hate, of course not. Daniela later apologized and said she didn't know Playboi Carti did that. Allegedly. The main argument for Daniela's defenders is that there are 40 million people who listen to this artist regularly, so there is no need to attack Daniela. And yes, there is no need to attack her, but take that whataboutism and put it in your... How does his amount of Spotify monthly listeners remove responsibility from a grown woman who is promoting this man to her young audience? There's no way you guys can use it as an argument. Yes, there is a problem. A lot of people listen to this man. A lot of people know about those accusations and they still don't give a shit. That's a problem, but Daniela promoting this man to her audience is a problem too. But I'm just apologized. I don't want to be saying here that we should blame her for that for the rest of her life. No, she apologized. If you guys wanna forgive her, even though it sounds weird, you do that. If you don't wanna forgive her, you move on without supporting her or the group. You decide for yourself. I also gotta say that separating the music from the artist is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If you still think like that, I think, you know, deep down you're just removing the responsibility from yourself by saying that. As someone on Reddit said, it feels weird to have a girl group focused on girl power openly support men that have histories of violence towards women. One of the most liked comments under the first part about KATSEYE is this: I always have this weird feeling when looking at their outfits. Like, yes, maybe it's just their personal style, but these are teenagers. How have you discovered everything about yourself at 19? And I get it. It's time to talk about sexualization of KATSEYE. Sex sells. Female objectification sells to straight men. Barely legal girls being put in those outfits sells almost to everyone. Think about it. Creepy men will eat it up. Teenage girls will eat it up too. Mindless audience? Well, same. Young women are brainwashed into thinking this is a fully conscious choice of all of them, so they don't see a problem. That's how it's so normalized and so common. Young women, or rather really young girls, see that this is what a cool girl should look like, and over time it just becomes a norm. You become desensitized. You start thinking this is your choice, you like it, there's no problem. You get the narrative, right? The problem is not only in the image of specific members. No. Young women often perceive this as normal and even as a conscious choice made by the girls themselves without noticing that most of these decisions are actually dictated by the industry and the market. They see that this is what a cool girl looks like, that this is the standard of beauty and confidence, and gradually it shapes their understanding of what a girl is supposed to be. But when this becomes the norm, the baseline standard, not a personal choice, and society starts saying if you don't dress like this, the problem is you. You're not confident enough, you're insecure. That is where it becomes harmful. And that is what we are seeing right now. As a result, girls who have not yet gone through this stage of growing up are forced to compare themselves to edited, curated images and imposed standards, which creates a distorted understanding of their own value and confidence. The industry gains profit while young women are left with psychological pressure and a warped sense of normal. I already have a video on this topic, Get Undressed or Irrelevant. There we talked about Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, KATSEYE as well, and this topic frankly can be discussed endlessly. Unfortunately. Since making that video, I have developed many more ideas on this topic, and if you're interested, please let me know in the comments and I will maybe think about making another part or like maybe another video on this topic. Say whatever you want, but don't you see a pattern here? This concept didn't get my attention almost at all, and this one got it almost immediately. We have talked a little bit about their marketing team, and yes, this team seems to be working very hard, almost like they are staying up late every night. They are getting attention for the group, and the group is essentially being talked about. I personally spent more than a month working on 2 videos about KATSEYE, and yes, they're still being discussed. All publicity is good publicity here because KATSEYE do get attention, but is it worth sacrificing image for drama? Because KATSEYE is not really being talked about as a musical group. The conversation is not about their music as much as it is about their controversies. Mano going on hiatus, their sponsorships, the members, the outfits, and when the conversation is about their music, it's often negative. Internet Girl, their Grammy performance, gnarly, even their debut. I already talked about this in my previous video, the links will be in the description, and if you're new here, there is actually a lot of interesting content on this channel, so yeah, subscribe. If KATSEYE were influencers, this would be completely normal, and maybe that's actually the company's goal, to turn them into influencers who most of their time sell products and sometimes release music. So yeah, maybe that is the company's goal, to turn KATSEYE into influencers who release music, no matter good or bad, and then sell as many products as possible through their image and personal brands. But if the goal is to make KATSEYE a legendary girl group, or at least a respected one, then they need to consistently release good music, and that is absolutely realistic. KATSEYE is signed to giants like Hype and Geffen Records, and these companies have artists with strong music. Olivia Rodrigo, Lee Seraph, and BTS, Eilid. Geffen also seem to be tied to Camila Cabello somehow. They know how to make good music, it's not the problem. They have access to good songwriters, to good producers, so why are they not doing it with KATSEYE? There is this theory online that KATSEYE is just an experiment, like a testing ground to see what works and what does, and what the audience reacts to, and what the audience wants as well. According to this theory, KATSEYE is a preparation for another group from Hype and Geffen that will be taken more seriously. I'm talking about Prelude, I don't know. Prelude, the final piece, is an upcoming global girl group project from Geffen Records and Hype America in collaboration with Abema. Their currently revealed members are Lexi Levin, Samara, and Emily, and their debut date is now unknown. The members are from the Dream Academy, which is a survival show that formed KATSEYE. There is a survival show going on right now to find another Japanese member for the group, and then, as far as I know, the group will debut. As a consumer, you probably would think, why would you make another group if you can't properly manage another one, the one that exists already? And this is exactly where this theory of KATSEYE being just an experiment starts to make sense to me. It would explain why their discography is so messy, why their concept switches, why. It would explain a lot of things to me, but I guess only time will tell. People don't seem to like Prelude that much for some reason, but I mean, they haven't debuted yet, only time will tell. Let me know your thoughts about Prelude if you have seen some content from there. Also, please, I know it's out of topic, but let me know your thoughts about Girl Sad. Boy, you gonna make me sweet under my body. So yes, unless KATSEYE really is an experiment and Prelude will be the serious polished project, then all of the things that are happening with KATSEYE do make sense. Because honestly, how is it possible that with access to some of the best songwriters and producers, KATSEYE releases songs like Eat Zucchini and still lacks a clear musical identity or character? I genuinely don't know how else to explain it. On one hand, who would invest millions into a group for it to be an experiment, but on the other hand, who would spend years building a girl group and then not do anything that would actually benefit the group in the long term? The question is open till this day, so is the comment section, which I do read till this day. Yeah! What am I doing? Oh my god! Well, the title of my previous video about KATSEYE is Everything Wrong with Our Generation. I want to address that people said I'm clickbaiting. Well, partially it is clickbait because it gets your attention, right? But it is also true. Look, KATSEYE is somehow connected to rage bait, sexualization, eating up low quality content, short attention span, parasocial relationship, not the oldest members being I don't know how to even say this. Hi guys, I'm so sorry for the sudden change. I ran out of my storage completely. If you want to support this channel so I can finally buy a camera, you can become a sponsor. I don't want to insult the girls in any way. I don't know them. I don't think they are responsible for what their group is going with and for their music even. But at the same time, people always tell me in the comments, don't hate on a group, hate on a company. And it's like, what? If you're praising the group, you're praising the group, not a company, right? You're not praising Hype or Gavin for getting them into Grammys this early on in their careers. You're not praising them for making that Popstar Academy documentary that got them so much attention. It makes sense, but at the same time it doesn't. You are praising the girls for their good songs. You're praising the girls for Gabriella. You're not praising the songwriters for some reason, but then when they do something bad, you are hating on the company, on songwriters, on choreographers, and all of that. You know what I mean here. I really want to talk about it too. There's a lot to talk about in this video, I know. And that is exactly what brings us to the end of this video. Today we've talked about the oversaturation of ads, the way the group is positioned as a brand, the blurred line between marketing and identity per social dynamics, and how all of this shapes the way we perceive KATSEYE, not just as artists, but as the product of the industry. At this point, the question isn't just what KATSEYE is, but what they are becoming. And that's exactly why this conversation matters. For now, for me, they are becoming a soulless commercial product that no one is attached to. If you have made it this far, please make sure to put thumbs up, to subscribe, and to share this video with your friends, even though I know you don't have any. I also really want to hear your perspective. Do you think KATSEYE has future, or are they doomed to fail? Also, where do you personally draw the line between promotion and overexposure, like when people get tired of them already, and the line between sexualization and liberation too? Read your thoughts in the comments. Some of them might shape my next videos. That's an influence you can have, bro. Tallinn is a very beautiful city. It's really so beautiful. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much for watching this video.